Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome, welcome. I get to do Power 5 this morning. So I'm going to do my Power 5 on just what we do through some difficult and challenging times. And specifically focusing in on Psalm 34. And what I do if I'm struggling with something and I wake up and I'm anxious, I'll just go and I'll put my Bible on in the morning beside my pillow, so I'm listening to it in the morning just to get that encouragement to start my day. But Psalm 34 is a really interesting psalm because David wrote this psalm. So David was anointed as king, remember? And then he was in Saul's court playing the harp. He worked his way up. He was actually leading some of the armies. And so he gained this reputation in Israel that, Saul killed his thousands, but David destroyed his 10,000s. So this caused Saul's heart to be very jealous and angry and hateful towards David. And so David and Jonathan got together, and Jonathan said, hey bro, you got to get out of here because my dad wants to kill you. So David's like, okay, I'm out of here. So David made a decision in the middle of that turmoil to do something that wasn't really smart, which sometimes we do when we're in a situation, right? We try to fix it and we do something silly and foolish. So David goes and he goes into the enemy's camp undercover. The problem is in the enemy's camp, somebody recognizes him and goes, oh, you're David. You're the guy they sing about that Saul killed his thousands and you killed your 10,000s. So he got busted, taken to the king. Now, can you imagine being in that situation? Now you are a Jew in a Palestinian army, and they're going to take you to the king to be killed. And so he starts feeling madness. He's clawing at the walls. He's drooling. And the king goes, what in the world are you bringing me this crazy person for? I have enough. Get out of here. And so David gets out of the enemy's camp, and he goes and he finds a cave. And it's in this cave then now that God starts bringing people to him. So out of this tumultuous time in his life, this challenging time, this fearful time, and as God brought him through it, God now begins his ministry, his kingship. Actually, it's the first time he starts leading people because God starts drawing people to him. And so this psalm was actually written and sung. Many people, I guess it's more tradition that he sang this to his men in the cave after. And I love it because he says, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. And what a beautiful thing. This was the heart of David. This is why David had a heart after God, because it didn't matter what he went through, right? He was constantly focused on the Lord. He blessed the Lord at all times. His praise was always in his mouth. He said, my soul will make its boast in the Lord. And it's like, okay, God, you brought me through this. I'm not bragging on myself. There's nothing that I could ever do to help myself. God, I'm only boasting in you. You see this constant, God, I'm looking at you. I'm going to worship you. I'm going to praise you. He says to the men, oh, magnify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. And you know, if you magnify something, it doesn't make the object bigger, but it makes it look bigger to you, right? And so this again is just, he's saying, let's magnify the Lord. Let's make him larger. Let's make him our focus. Let's make him big in our lives over all the situations, over all the circumstances. Let's magnify him and let us exalt him together. And he says, I sought the Lord and he answered me. So I believe that in the middle of it all, even though he was fearful, he never stopped seeking God. And if you go into a situation and it's painful and things aren't working out the way you think that they should, or there's strife, or there's hardship, or there's financial loss, or there's, relational struggles, whatever it is, right? Remember, don't get angry at God, because I do this sometimes. And I go, God, why aren't you fixing this? God, why aren't you doing this? But David said, I sought the Lord. And in the middle of it, and I believe that when he's in the enemy's camp, he kept his focus on the Lord, and he kept seeking the Lord. And he said, he answered me, and he delivered me from all my fears. So if there's something that you're fearing, and sometimes it's a legitimate fear, when you seek the Lord, he can deliver you out of it, right? He said, this poor man cried, and the Lord heard him. And you know what, a cry isn't a long, lengthy prayer, because sometimes, how many know when you're going through something, it's really hard to just pray long prayers. But he says, this man cried. It's like a baby. You cry, and it's loud, and it's short, and it's like, God, help me. Yahweh, I need your grace. Yahweh, I need your help. Yahweh, I can't do this on my own. Yahweh, strengthen me. That's a crying out to the Lord. And the beautiful promise that I want to encourage you today is when you're going through a hard time and you're crying out to the Lord through those things, do you know what happened? It says, and the Lord heard him. The Lord heard him and saved him out of all of his troubles. Now you notice that the Lord saved him out of his trouble in the enemy's camp. But he didn't bring him to be a king right away. He took him to a next place where God was prepping his heart, further growth. But he was beginning now all of a sudden to say, hey, I'm bringing these men to you. You're now stepping into your leadership. And you know why I believe that he fulfilled that calling and God blessed him that way is because he magnified the Lord. Because he sought the Lord. And in those difficult situations, God delivered him. As God will deliver us when we magnify him, when we focus on him, when we seek him, when we trust in him. And I would encourage you, go through the psalm and read it. It's a beautiful psalm. Read it with the history in mind. And you'll go, wow, I want a heart like David after the Lord. So that no matter what comes my way, that I can say, my heart trusts in you, Lord. My heart trusts in you. That's the beautiful place of faith that God is calling us up to. And you know, for me, sometimes I think, oh, I'm doing pretty good in my faith, and then something happens in my life, and God peels back my heart, and I'm going, ah! And he goes, see? Not quite there yet, Annie. But that's how we grow, line upon line, precept upon precept. Amen. And so you never stop magnifying the Lord. Never stop blessing the Lord at all times. Let his praise continually be in our mouths, no matter the situations.